We're all set and ready to roll? Okay, the time is 6:32. With us this evening is Patrick Knight, Mike Roth, Ben Peters, Michael Geary, myself, and Kim Dunsmore, and also online, Craig Schulte.
Yep.
All right, we are all here.
Yay.
We'll move on to open forum. Is anyone here for open forum this evening? All right.
Okay.
With that, we have guests, but not for open forum. So we will move along from that and on to the consent agenda.
Did you have any?
Would
Anything?
anyone like to make a motion on the consent agenda?
I would like to motion that we approve the consent agenda.
And I would second.
All right. I have just one question on that, which I think Kim can answer in probably 2 seconds. Looking at the lineman points update, we did that last year, right? Or do we have to do that again, or is that a different
We
one?
didn't update the points, we just updated the job description.
Oh, and we are just now getting to this portion of it, which is what the ultimate goal was, to get to this.
Yes.
Okay, which I thought we already had. All right, never mind. And then just make sure everyone's aware that what we are also doing at this time is approving the park master plan, which I know we discussed in a prior meeting, but I just want to make sure everybody, that's good to go and there's no more questions or
Not
anything
from
with
my,
that at
not from
all.
my corner.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
All in favor of the consent agenda?
I think you have to roll call vote.
Oh, that's right, we do need to. Okay, so, thank you.
Yep.
We'll start with you then.
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And myself, aye. All right, so there's our agenda. Next up, designating the News Herald as our official paper for the year. We're going to be doing our annual business this evening. Let me actually use the paper for this one. All right.
There it is. Okay.
And I went too far. So for legal publishing, once again, we would be renewing with the Cook County News Herald with the same prices as last year.
Yep.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve this bid?
I would move to approve the bid from the News Herald.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? No. All right, roll call again. We're going to start with Craig this time.
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're a bunch of sailors tonight.
Aye, aye.
All right, moving right along, the city depository. We're making requests for approving the Grand Marais State Bank along with North Shore Federal Credit Union and Security State Bank, LMC Fund, and RBC as our official depositories for the Grand Marais City funds. Would anyone like to make a motion on this?
I just had a question on
It's
this. Would it-
24,
What's that?
by the way.
Oh,
there it is.
yes.
I thought you meant like it had been in the past,
Oh.
so, but I get what
Yeah.
you mean, yeah.
And I just had a question if there were any changes.
This is the same list.
The same, I presume, but just wanted to check.
Anyone like to make a motion on that?
I'd move to approve the depositories as presented here.
All right, second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call. I'll start with myself. Aye. Ben?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
All right, there we go. And with that, we have our same approved list as last year. All right. So now we're on to the fun, well, one of the fun parts of the evening, at least each year we get this joy. For our board appointments for the
Yep.
year, I have our list from this prior year Does everyone remember the boards that they are on? I'm going to skip, I know we have citizen appointments here, but I'm just going to take a look with city council for just a moment. Is everybody,
I have
Would
a
you like to-
conflict, yeah, so
Do you
I have
want to-
not been able to make the Downtown Business Coalition, and I wondered if somebody else would like to either swap with me or just take that over.
okay. And Aaron's not here, but okay.
Yeah. Do we have to make an absolute decision? Because I don't know, it seemed like Aaron might be interested.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
well, let's
unless,
put that on hold then. Is that okay for
that's
you?
fine, yep.
All right, we'll just remember that for
Yeah,
our
it's
next
just been
meeting.
an ongoing problem trying for me to
Yeah.
break away and get
and
to that.
Mike, is there any issue of putting that off to another point in time?
No, you can change the council assignments to boards anytime you want. This is just kind of the one time we always look at it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and maybe I can do that too, we'll just see, but yeah, I think that's a good point. We'll see how Aaron's, unless Craig, you had a real big, oh, Craig's looking around.
No.
No, all right.
Just make sure I'm okay.
Thought you were trying to hide for a minute.
My secretary just left, so I'm on my own.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Anybody else have something they need to switch around at all?
No, good to
Okay.
keep going.
Everyone's been able to attend their meetings
Yeah.
and they're okay with it?
Yeah, although there's one that I haven't heard from in a long
Oh,
time.
and that would be?
Is it the North Foods?
Oh,
Is that on there?
you know what, it's not, but that's because this list was the original list and we added that a little bit later. But I
Yeah,
know what
and they
you mean
never-
with Sarah.
They never
just-
contacted me, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, they just had a meeting of some, I'm on their distribution,
I said,
North,
okay, and they said they,
yeah. I've got it with Sarah Waddle.
They must
Okay.
not need anything from you right now.
I guess not, which is
Well,
fine.
we better make sure that your
Yeah.
email and info got to them, so we
Okay.
can do that as a follow-up. Because I know there was a little confusion last year, and it took a while,
Okay.
like, I didn't get any
But they came to a meeting and we
CDs for
talked,
that.
and I thought we had that all square, but
Okay,
anyway,
no, that's good, we'll, look into that,
yeah,
and I'll add it to the list. Okay,
okay.
Craig, did you need to make any changes?
No,
Nope.
I'm fine.
You good? Okay. I think then we're all set with that, so now we can move up to the citizen appointments. Is there anything here any conversation or?
Well, great news. All of our openings are currently filled by incumbents who are eligible and willing to continue. So it's
Yay!
been a while since we've had this kind of nice,
Yeah,
smooth transition.
yeah. Thank you,
No
Ben.
transition, really.
Yeah,
So I just have a question.
Mhm.
So then Ben isn't on the planning commission as us having two council people on it. You're sort of on it because you were already on it?
I was.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah.
just outside of that.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't.
Yep, I was by appointment.
Yeah,
And I never caught that, I just thought we had.
Yeah,
two
and so he could-
council people on.
which was great. That he
Mhm.
could keep going.
Yeah.
It
so.
is good, that's
Yeah.
great, okay. All right, that takes care of that, and then, here comes the fun one. Acting mayor, who is now Craig.
I would nominate Craig.
I would also like to nominate Craig.
All right.
What does Craig
got
think?
it Seconded, look at that.
I'm fine with it. I'm gonna be kind of bebopping back and forth from Michigan and Minnesota. So, I might be partaking in this type of Google Meet,
Mm-hmm.
a few times, but if that's okay with everybody else, that's fine.
Is that an issue, Mike?
We could have a backup, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could have a
You
backup.
can't have a backup.
Oh,
I think you could change this designation if you needed to, but
okay.
Okay.
what we do with this is that they're an official signatory at our bank accounts, and they can sign contracts for the city, and, it's pretty rare that we ask that acting mayor to step in for the mayor. I don't know, Craig, if we've had you do that at all this last year. So it's not a big risk
No.
that he's got to travel schedule, but.
All right.
Yeah.
The whole idea is that this person needs to be around if she's not, so.
Okay.
And if neither of them are, we'll figure it out.
Well, and if anything really changes, then we'll have that conversation at that time.
Yeah.
Right, because we can change that, like you mentioned.
You can change that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
All
right.
right, congratulations, Craig.
Okay.
Woo!
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I believe then we have covered all of the annual business
Yeah.
around this.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, very good.
Yep.
So that leads us to our conditional use request.
Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah, so I presume you guys have read it, you've probably seen it. Talked about lots of places. At least insofar as our findings show, it does, it kind of hit all the marks. As you're aware, it was there mostly or predominantly because of the size. It's a big old project, and that's why it came before us. And we want these kinds of projects to come before us, just, to get our eyes on it, know what's going on, make sure we can ask some questions before things move ahead. It appeared that Mr. St. John was very compliant with our rules, is really engaged in trying to make sure that he is following along in terms of our requirements, especially like the height requirement and all of that. We can also look at his other building where he, was able to kind of make things happen and still be under the height limitation. And overall, it seemed like that he was trying to hit all of our boxes and was responsive to neighbors and letting people know what was going on. So I think it all pointed in a pretty positive direction, and that's why, Ben and myself and the other commissioners sent it forward to the council.
Okay. One thing I just asked indirectly, I actually asked Abby Tofty this, but long before Mr. St. John
Mhm.
acquired this property, some of the back property for what is now Great Gifts, and then Emily, or Abby with
Yeah,
Big Lake,
Big
was
Lake.
already, bought out, and I'm mostly concerned with Great Gifts. I'm assuming it's probably a requirement that all buildings have to have 2 exits, or is it not? I mean, I would be concerned in any kind of an emergency situation that we're looking at only 1 exit from their building once they are boxed in on those 2 sides. At least Great Gifts. I don't know how that affects the next building up if they still have a back exit,
Right.
but that does bother me. And I just assumed, and I shouldn't make assumptions because I'm not a building code person, but
Yeah.
that
I
should be
mean,
something that
yeah,
you would want to and need to have. I mean, it's no different than having a basement egress, right? Escape kind of piece. So, we've already had our bad luck with fires, and that's happened to my own family and business here.
Mm.
So, that's something I'm conscientious of. And that was one of my concerns.
Yeah.
I know other people have had concerns about alley traffic, but that alley's already been a commercial use alley for quite some time for, 4 businesses already, so.
Yeah.
Or multiple, actually. So I don't think that really changes.
No.
Yes, can you
No.
talk about that?
Not so much the alley. I know that there was one comment that was talking about, well, that was in our packet, was talking about the parking lot and directional flow and that kind of thing.
We
And
did get asked about the alley at the
Yeah.
meeting. Jill Terrell asked us about it.
oh, yes. Right, because that's right, because you were saying I'm one up and just wondering how that was going to roll.
And I don't see it behaving any different than it did when the White Pine was up against the alley space. There was still a lot of semi-truck traffic using it to service commercial establishments.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
I'm assuming just because this is a one-way, that most people are coming up that, coming this, well, I guess it really doesn't matter. It just, you have to be able to go that way when you get done.
Mm-hmm. You mean get here?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, if you
need to do
came through and you
anything- Yeah, you might come down this one way and head that way, but I'm assuming a lot of people come.
Most if we're talking about truck traffic now.
Yeah.
Most of them either just back in here where there's a lot of space between Bucks and our building, or if they're backing in there, they'll drive through our parking lot first and then back in.
Hmm.
There isn't a lot of people that I think turn from Wisconsin to come up onto the alley with a truck. They'll go
Yeah.
out that way, but they don't come in that way.
Yeah, that would be
And
tricky.
we thought about that pretty extensively when we planned our site to make sure that it could still function that way. I mean, selfishly, because we generate a lot of that truck traffic, but also because we recognize there's other businesses that use it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think this really changes the nature of that in any way, because there was commentary about that.
Yeah.
And then I know there's issues with parking, there's always issues with parking, but I
But
kind
they
of
have-
get the comment about if there's an event, depending on, how
Yeah.
many people, and then you still have other businesses who expect to have parking available. Who knows, maybe there'll be a new business for valet parking.
There you go.
I don't know, but, we all know there's never enough parking, but that said, if this is truly a large event piece and it's a common and it's a major focus of your business,
Hmm.
that could adversely affect other businesses in the area who also have,
But those other businesses also have events and things, that draw in a big traffic and.
That's what I mean, you're putting a higher pressure,
Right.
at other restaurants and bars and whatever sitting in the area, but just,
Yep.
that's the way, I don't know.
Yeah.
I had no other, like you said, the Mayhew Inn is a very well done, very well put together building, and the Bowen's do an excellent job.
Mhm.
So, the only thing I would like to say is that I think we have to thank prior city councils and other people in our community, including Gene Erickson, that we have that city park sitting out there right now, and that it's not sitting with another building, or this development would not be happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my only other comment.
All right.
Do you have anything? Oh, that's right, you were already.
I was at the meeting, yeah.
Yeah. And
Craig,
Yeah.
did you have anything?
No, I think the plans show, I don't have them with me right now, but the extra lot that was purchased, that's gonna be used for parking,
right. Yeah.
is that, how many sites are on that? More than 10?
Yeah.
More than 10. I
Yeah,
can't remember how
drew
many.
18.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the big thing, is signage and, his patrons that are gonna be staying in that place need to know, where their parking is.
Right.
Instead of just out on the street overnight. That's something that's gotta be, I guess, communicated, that there is off-site parking, and it's not like really, it's not too far away, but yet it is 2 steps away,
Yeah.
So I'm just, I'm just making sure that property is utilized for that project's parking. That's how.
I see what you're saying.
That's how it's gonna happen,
Yep.
so that was my concern, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
Well, with that, I would make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-01, approving the St. John conditional use.
I'll second.
All right. Our fun roll call system for this evening, one more time. We're
All
going to
right.
start with Craig.
Aye.
All right. Ben?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Okay.
Let us then move on to City Hall and liquor stores.
There we go.
And funding. Did you, does this begin with Robert or with you, Mike?
Well, we have Bruce Kimmel here.
Oh, why did I? Oh, up above there. I looked at the wrong. It's looking down below.
What we have on the agenda is just a little bit different than what we were talking about having on the agenda in December. There's a pre-sale report and there's a resolution authorizing some actions that we need to take, but this isn't the final steps
Okay.
yet. We're looking at scheduling the bond sale for later at your next meeting. And so we're going to deal with all the final questions and steps at that time. But in the meantime, we've got this pre-sale report. Bruce, I don't know if you want to give us a quick tour of it, or?
Yeah, Mike, I'd be happy to. Do you all have it in front of you? Should I share my screen? What would
Yep,
work for you?
we've got it.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you, Mayor and council members, Bruce Kimmel of Ellers, and
Oops, frozen in time.
all right, my computer just decided that it went from 90% to 10%. I need to grab a charging cord really quick, and I think I should ask Santa for a new laptop for Christmas. Really sorry about this, but if you would just give me 2
Yep.
minutes.
No problem.
Absolutely.
And then
Yeah.
circle back.
You go dig for that coal you got.
Yeah, right? All right, I'll be right back. And again,
We're good.
let's Move on. Okay, thank you.
No problem. We can put our names and addresses, start out filling out this form.
What is this?
What do you
Do you
got?
need a pen?
I do,
This is from,
please. Thank you.
Kim. You can just write whatever name you want, because
Mhm.
no one asks, you can just write whatever name you want.
Exactly. We're not checking IDs, although in this case, it actually is my job to check.
Oh.
That's true of ballots too. When you sign up to run for office, you can write whatever name you want on there. However you want it
That's
to
true.
appear.
I'll remember that.
All right, I am back. Thank you for your patience.
Sure.
So as Mike mentioned, this pre-sale report is really just to go over the overall details for the total bond issue to fund both the City Hall and the liquor store projects. And then there is a resolution basically authorizing this process to move forward and calling for the so-called tax abatement hearing that is required for the liquor store portion of the project. We had, as Mike alluded to, planned on doing the tax abatement hearing tonight, but pre-holiday craziness led me to have a brain lapse, and we didn't get you all the notice of public hearing in enough time to do that for the holidays. And so here we are, but this will work just fine to do the tax abatement hearing on the 31st before you award the bonds to the winning bidder. So we still wanted to have this discussion tonight, again, of the overall bond issue, really to just make sure that everything tracked with your understanding at the city council level of financing, the use of both bond financing and cash funds, city cash reserves for both parts of the project. And again, just make sure that we weren't missing anything or that any confusion got clarified, well before the actual bond sale on January 31st. So I won't go through all of this report in detail, but I did want to note that we are using a couple of different bonding authorities in this one bond issue. We are using CIP, or Capital Improvement Plan Bond Authority, for the City Hall portion of the project, and again, what's called Tax Abatement Bonding Authority for the liquor store part of the project. You may recall that last month we did have a public hearing on the CIP portion, so that that part is already taken care of. And again, we'll just do some housekeeping on the tax abatement side so that we can go forward with the overall bond issue and really have the most efficient financing possible under state law. I won't go through all of the authorities. There are a couple of different formulas in play under state statute, and you have more than enough capacity under both authorities to execute on this financing. If you're aware, this bond issue, we're structuring for a term of approximately 21 years, so there'll be about a 20-year repayment period for both the City Hall and the liquor store portions of the financing. This will be a bank qualified issuance. This is kind of an arcane tax detail, but what it means is that banks are going to have an additional incentive to try to buy your bonds because they get an additional tax benefit in addition to the overall tax exemption from purchasing these bonds if they desire to do that. I also mentioned that the city's rating of AA from S&P Global Ratings most likely will be affirmed with flying colors as part of this bond issuance process. We will be having a rating call with S&P next week, which will give them enough time to then finish their analysis and issue a rating for this 2024 A bond issue the week before the bond sale on the 31st. Then the last thing I just really wanted to note is that we have been monitoring your existing debt. One nice thing about the very long, protracted period of low interest rates that we had over much of this century so far, it has meant that you really have exceptionally low rates on your existing bonds, so there are no refinancing opportunities right now. But we do monitor that quarterly, and there will be call dates coming up on some of your old bonds, and so we would certainly continue to monitor those opportunities as they might arise and communicate those to So then the last thing I just wanted to note is we did include a schedule of events as well, and this lays out again in a little more detail the plan for the city council meetings, the tax abatement hearing on the 31st, as well as the award of the bonds on the 31st. And then we do expect to close this issue and for the city to receive the funding on February 15th. Are there any questions about that before I move forward and just show a few details on the bond issue itself?
I'm good. Ben?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're
Craig?
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the last thing I'll just show you is if you look at the exhibit, the attachment on the back of the pre-sale report, you can see some financial schedules, and the first page is what's called the sources and uses of funds, and you can see exactly how much is expected to be funded for the City Hall project and the liquor store project, respectively. We are under the understanding that you are shooting for approximately an $8.5 million budget and that you're planning on using cash, again, in addition to the bonds to fund that full amount. The nice thing is that if your bids come in less than that, you can use less cash, and then still have reasonably low interest rate financing for the bond portion of this, with the ability to prepay after the first 9 years are prepaid. And we did inflate the interest rates in these schedules. If you sold today, the rates would be quite a bit lower than what we're showing here, which means that your debt service to be paid back with city tax levies and liquor store revenues should hopefully also be less than what we're projecting here. Any questions about the actual numbers and dates involved with this proposed bond issue?
No, I'm okay. I think, it's like the last time we were doing some bond, like you said, it's conservative in the sense that we will see lower rates. We've taken
Yeah.
a conservative view by putting a higher rate in than we expect, so.
Yeah.
we won't get coal in our stocking if this goes well.
Exactly.
Yep.
Good, well then, Mayor and council members, if there aren't any other questions about this, again, our next step will be to work through the process of advertising this sale to the market, working with S&P on the credit rating, and then actually selling the bonds on the 31st, and I will be back with you that evening, again, for the tax abatement hearing, and then the award of the bonds after that. And if we're all good to go, then I would ask you to consider the resolution in front of you, really authorizing the next steps and the tax abatement hearing to be published for the 31st.
Great. Thanks, Bruce.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
All right, would anyone like to make a motion on resolution 2024-2, calling for the public hearing of the tax abatement and along with the conditional sale of the general obligation bonds? And
Yeah.
I don't think I've missed anything there.
Kind of a long name.
Yeah.
Oh, but I would make that motion.
All right, second? Okay,
I'll second that.
thank you.
Thank
Any
you,
other
Craig.
questions, comments? All right, roll call. Ben?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right. Okay.
And what was this for again?
Hmm?
Why did we sign this? Just curious.
Oh, that's for those bonds, so
This
that
is
you'll
their-
make sure you've signed it.
Oh.
Liable for that?
Oh, well, thank you.
Is it the auditors?
Yeah, that's where that
I'll fill
one's
that
going.
in for Craig.
Oh.
Make sure you're
right.
part of that too.
So for city and council reports tonight, oh, did I get kicked out? Thought I had joined. Well, let me join again. One of the things I wanted to do, which I don't know if people have done this before or not, but I thought it would be a great idea for us to kind of do a little recap on our year, because you kind of forget what's happened and the year goes by fast. So now I'm in, asked to join, my boo-boo. I didn't see in Google Meets the asked to join.
Oh, so you want to mute your...
Your laptop.
There we go. That was muted. All right, so now we're good to go with that. So, there we go. I put together just a fun little PowerPoint just for us to take a look at about our year and all that we've done and all that everyone in the city has done. And just caution, it's just the highlights. So not everything, so if you miss something, just tell me.
Is there like a music behind
No,
it?
but did you want to sing?
Not really.
All right, 'cause
I mean, I don't mind singing.
I did.
I have
So-
nothing prepared.
I went through all of our meeting minutes that Kim writes. I looked at our agenda lists. I looked at my own notes. And the department heads gave Patrick some feedback as well to what they've done. And so this is what I came up with for this year. And I sort of grouped them. So under our harbor and our parks, we have a new park master plan. We're working with Minnesota State Historical Preservation Office. And we've also begun some work with the East Bay erosion issues through that nonprofit group, and we've got some potential things there. I don't know if anything is you want to add on that. around ordinances and zoning. Your groups took a look at our parking, trash receptacles. We also looked at leash laws. We put in a cannabis ordinance. And I mean, you guys are in zoning, maybe you guys have plenty of zoning, other highlights
trying
to
to
your
think.
year.
Did we do anything? Was it this year that we did the zoning along 61? Going up there, changing the,
Yeah, I think that
wasn't that,
was.
was
Yeah.
that this year?
I think it was early
Yeah.
23.
Oh, the little structure.
Yeah, what it,
Oh, no, when we changed the commercial.
Yeah, we were adding-
industrial, Or the CI zone to commercial mixed use.
yeah, I think
to
that
allow
was, or was that last year?
residential.
I mean, 22.
Oh, yeah, I remember, I can't remember, yeah, did
Yeah.
that go into?
It was
the-
either
It
one
was
of-
22.
Was this?
It's 22.
Just at the
Okay.
very end.
I figured if we
right?
remembered it was.
Yeah. We don't, calendar years don't always fit what we do. That's why it's nice to go back and do what she's doing.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys, saw several large projects come in
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
for,
Yeah.
for this
Yeah.
year,
Banner-
that
banner
now
year
we'll
for
maybe
that.
start to see.
Yeah,
So,
mostly starts, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, starts that
So-
way, so, I don't know, well, I think that's good.
yeah.
Oopsie, I think that it's just slow, I think it skipped one.
I think you might have already skipped.
There we go. I had to go back. It's slow. And then here in operations, we're going to have a new City Hall and liquor store. And the very first city council meeting I ever went to, if I have this right, was the presentation from the firm that was hired to determine if this building was worth renovating or not.
Mm.
And so they presented the results, which were, no, it's not. And it's how many years later, and this year shovels in the ground.
Yay.
And thanks to Patrick, our city applications are now online, and Patrick also recodified it, and our ordinances are very easy to search.
I wouldn't say I recodified it, but.
Oh. All right, well, just take
Or
credit.
you could
Take
say
the
it.
Yeah.
Just take it.
Just go with that, okay? Searchable.
Search.
All right. That was my favorite bear on the last time we had a big trout year. He was my neighbor for 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah, her, him.
There were actually a couple of them. And then under, I guess, sustainability, I'm not sure if that's the right, I forgot to clean that up. But anyways, Shane pointed out the updated stormwater management model. Deployed the disconnect meters for the off-peak customers. And I forgot to condense this one, but I thought it was a fun fact that we have some of the highest charging, I don't know if rates is the right way to say it, but
Just usage.
usage
Usage.
of any of the SIMPA cities short of Rochester and North Branch.
Wow.
Thought that was kind of impressive. It's seasonal, but
Right, but
yeah,
still, that's
that's kind of a
impressive.
fun fact. And then
Yeah.
we've got that relief grant partially that we'll have to start working on
What's that one again?
trees. It's to
Tree inventory and
yeah
tree management
plan.
plan.
Okay.
With hopes in mind that we could maybe go around in our residential area, or at least that's my vision, eventually have money and funding to go around a residential area and maybe replace trees that are at risk of
Toppling.
and other issues. And then, of course, we got a few more rain gardens in as well this year. Somewhere I think something went by too fast in my...
It was early. And then the second slide.
There we go. I knew we missed something.
Mm.
So under city utilities, this is what the department heads gave me. Some new equipment within the streets department to help them do their jobs much better and provide better service. And the wastewater treatment, reducing odor, that will make everyone happy. And then the really huge one for costs and just our future and doing well within wastewater is reducing some of the hauling costs with the biosolids. That's big. Electric, ongoing transition with the underground service lines to reduce outages, which is also big. I know they do a lot more, but those are the highlights they gave me. And then we've all of us, the department people and the council, we're all working on updating our joint agreements with the county. And then the biggest project was us tying in, of course, with the county on the Fifth Avenue West project. And now we've got a lot of new utilities sitting under a much improved street. So
Yeah.
I don't know if any of the rest of you have something you want to add to that or any of this.
Yeah, great.
I'm going to scoot ahead. So, you know, behind all of that, of course, are all the people who really do all the work. The 5 of us sit here a couple times a month and we talk about things, but there's a whole bunch of people who actually do all the work, and I thought we'd all like to take a moment to give them a big thank you. Because if you work for government, nobody gives you a big bonus once a year. You don't get a lot of rewards for that, really. I mean, you have to, I guess, really like what you do a lot and hope people appreciate it. So I thought we could take a moment to do that. Oh, and here I'd like, do you have a pen handy?
Oh, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna, well, it's not, there's, Garen's gone, but I just want, okay, first of all, I want everybody to guess for me how many people are on the city payroll. How many do you think?
Oh.
34.
Write that down.
Oh.
Ben says
I've got pens,
34.
not paper.
All right,
34.
34 for Ben. Michael?
I would say 28.
All right, Craig?
Is this?
Does that include
all
part-time?
seasonal, everybody?
It's everybody.
Oh, yeah, I missed that.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, I'm guessing 45.
All right, ooh, this is gonna be
Throw it out
fun.
there.
Okay, here we go. So, starting out with our streets department,
Uh-huh.
I'd like to give a big thank you to
Probably less.
You've got Christian, Rodney, and Lenny making, and I know, and the other thing is we know we're a small group, so everyone like kind of does work back and forth. It's not that
Right.
divided, but I just wanted to divide it for visuals for everyone. So there's our main street group. Let's see if this is just kind of slow, isn't it? Here we go. So our public utilities team. Oops. There they are. Jeffrey, Zach, Matthew, Neil, Greg, and Alan. Parks team. I think that's all on this slide. Let's see what happens. Oh, no, there we go. There's one more. So Richard, Sam, David, Mike, Savannah, Aaron, and Jake, followed by, hold your applause. There we go. So Harris, Caleb, Olga, Jeff, Tanner, Lucas, Leanne. I think that's my whole list. That's everyone that works and makes our city parks and campground and marina.
Down on the first page?
Yeah, there's more.
Oh, you're right, I do have one more page. I thought so.
Yeah.
I was hoping so, because I'm not there
Taylor.
yet.
Jennifer. I think now we're all set with Taylor, Jennifer, Jessen, Don, Eric, and Peter.
I bet you're not.
No, I think I have one more. I forgot. Nope, that was it.
Okay, is there a golf page then?
Yes, there's a
Gotcha.
golf page. I separated
Okay.
it. So now we got our liquor store team, another super important business adventure we have in our lucky community, and we are to have both of those.
Mhm.
I got everyone now? I don't think I have to do one more. So Terry, Kriana? Kriana, Cheryl, Marjorie, Dylan, Chris, and Lynetta. And that makes up the liquor store, another hugely important asset to our community. Oh, and Lisa, see, I forgot one. Sorry, Lisa. That was just me. And Charles. There's a lot of them, and they're all doing.
Who's keeping count?
I am,
Yeah.
sort of.
Okay.
38.
So then we got the library team. Erica, Amanda, Garrett, Ryan, Kathleen,
Mazzy.
Mazzy, thank you, James, and Evelyn. Yes. We are fortunate to have once again a 5-star library. Golf course, this is the one everyone thought I was missing.
But I am not. Here it is.
It is. With big plans for more food and beverages this year. I think that took care of it. Paul, is it Tony? Or Anthony? Paul? Tony, okay. Michael, John, Twinkie, Paulina, Parker, and Jordan made up our golf course team this year. And the City Hall team. They're missing anyone. Shane, Mike, Patrick, Alyssa, and Kim. So with that, I think from all of us, a big thank you to everyone on our City Hall, city staff for all that
All
you
the
do.
work.
Thanks
That gets
everyone.
done.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
killing it.
Thank you.
You're
So how many was that?
59, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say
what I got.
60.
It's 59.
59.
Throw in another
Yes.
15 firefighters and 5 city
Yes.
councilors and
Yeah.
2 additional PUC members, and you'll get the whole payroll.
Yeah.
You know, I feel, that's right, fire department, I'm
Yeah.
totally amiss. Next year, we'll have this really well tuned in. This is
Totally
just-
dialed in.
Yes,
But I thought it was a great start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
no.
is.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
yeah. So,
It's interesting, yeah.
if Ben will forgive me for that, Ben Silence in the group, because obviously hugely important.
Right.
I did think about the sheriff too, but anyways, yes, so thanks everyone. Any other staff reports or anything?
No? Not for
No,
me.
I think by next meeting, I'm gonna have a more, maybe robust conversation about the North House and our
Oh, that's right.
conversations there.
You said that.
Yeah, I think we're just waiting for them to get back to us on what our next plan is. And so, we just met, we talked about, with the goal of like, hey, what does your new lease look like? Or what does our new lease look like, right? And the conversation was good. We just really presented and stuck with our core, what we had all agreed, what we had all talked about, and giving those options. One, just pay more money because you can. Then we talked a little bit about talking to the city about what is going on, like what does your master plan look like? Can we be more upfront
Yeah.
and open about that?
Mhm.
So that we can figure out what the best use is for the city property that we lease, and
Yeah.
and how does that play out? And then the third option, which was, we talked about pilot program money, is in like payment in lieu of taxes, which would not be on a singular property presumably, but be voluntary. It's happening all over the country in municipalities like ours with a certain density of both nonprofit and government property, right? I think Mike touched on, like, we had maybe up to 60% roughly of non-tax paying, non-tax supporting properties in the city of Grand Marais.
Mhm.
So, looking at what does a program like that look like for the North House, and then how could that look for other nonprofits that want to participate in some of the needs that we have as a city and as a community. Not that they have to, but because they might want to.
Yeah.
Because we maybe could use it someday, right? So if we want to grow and want to maintain our city, so.
Yeah.
I will have more about that. We left it as not sure who's going to pitch what idea to who and when, and so, but they wanted the opportunity to have an internal, and then they were going to get back to Mike or I, or both, and say, you know, I sort of raised my hand, and I don't know if Mike was, you know, we didn't talk about it beforehand, but I said, hey, we'll write it up. Like, we'll throw numbers out if you want us to throw numbers out. Or you can, right? But
Yeah.
and so we're kind of staring at each other and trying to figure that piece out. And anyway, they said they're gonna have an internal to get back to us and let us know who's gonna throw the first, you know,
Yeah.
first shot,
Okay.
you know, and see. And then we'll certainly want to have a lot more input and maybe another conversation about what does that look like for all of us and how do we craft that.
Yeah.
So, but all good options. Yeah, and I think once I get word back from them on how we want to proceed, I'll actually want to write a more robust sort of backdrop about what has happened, because I've just given you like brief 30-second, 45-second, you know, snapshot, but we've met 5 times, right? 5 or 6 times? For a total of
5 times.
probably 15 hours.
Probably 10 to 15, yeah.
Okay, and so more has happened in that, and so I wanted, if I can give you some background as far like how did we get here, or what is the conversation, or where, you know, where has it gone? If for no other reason than it provides a good foundation and backdrop for next city councils down the road, right? We don't want to just do a one and done, sign the lease, and I don't think anybody really wants that. They've been very clear that they're interested in vision, being part of the community for a long time, and wanting to have that relationship piece, and so more to come. I want to do a more thorough write-up about where we're at, so that when we talk about what the lease is or isn't, maybe provide some better context, you know, because not everybody has had the opportunity to be in that same room with those people and crafting that dialogue. So,
Great.
do you have anything to add to that, or
No, it's a good summary.
seem like okay?
Great.
Great.
Anything else? I mean, unrelated to that?
No, nothing.
All right, thanks.
Oh,
Craig?
yes, one more thing related to that. Sorry, I apologize.
Okay.
They have their board retreat this weekend, and they are wanting to come and talk to us about their plan, about their, it's not the master plan, but
Their
it's the
strategic plan?
strategic plan,
Yeah.
which
Oh, okay.
talks a lot about some of those pieces and
Okay.
and uses and vision and how they're getting where they're going. And it might be a different kind of conversation than we've had with them. So that'll be kind of cool, because I think they're going to want to try to open up some more dialogue about some of that, and a chance to ask a lot of good questions and to get some feedback. So at least that's what's been built. I don't know if that'll happen, but that's what they've talked about doing, so.
Okay. And have they established a time or a day they're coming?
Well, like I said, this weekend they're finalizing that program,
Okay.
and then anytime after that, I think they seem
Okay.
like they would be willing to jump in.
Great, thank you. Craig, did you have anything for council staff reports?
Yeah, I had a park board meeting last week. They're just getting used to practicing with the new Firefly software for booking reservations. January is the month where the seasonal monthly guests make their $100 deposits and secure their spot for the summer. And then once those have been secured, then February they book the vacant spots that open. Anyways, and the other part of the meeting. It was a short meeting, but we're moving forward. The park is moving forward with Stacy Drillard has agreed to write a narrative on the interpretive panel that is honoring George Morrison. That will be placed at the Overlook when that's completed. I guess the panel is going to be approximately 24 by 36, mounted on black powder-coated metal pedestal, and there'll be a narrative describing him, honoring him for that artwork that's being presented at that spot. So that was basically the meeting. It was pretty short. And that's all I got for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is that pedestal there, is that what they're calling at the CEC a kiosk as well? No, we're still at separate. Okay.
This will be separate.
So I just-
Yeah, the kiosk is something different. I think it's more of a directional thing.
Yeah,
They're going to be located throughout different spots in town, yeah.
right.
Yeah, this will be a permanent mounted panel
Different, okay.
honoring that structure, you know.
Right. That's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure yeah, okay. All right. Michael?
Nothing. Oh, that
It's
was
the first of
it.
the year and you haven't attended any meetings yet?
Yes, no, I
He attended the planning commission
I
meeting.
did that one.
Oh, that's true, you did.
Right, and it's only like, come on, 10 days.
And I'm kidding, because, yeah, who has?
It's a long month.
Yeah.
No, I know, I'm making jokes. I just finally realized a few days ago it was January and I had to kind of map out the new
Wait a
month,
minute.
like, we're done with holidays. Just a quick reminder for everyone in City Council, as you know, we're starting off with our brand-new review process for the city administrator and the department heads. And of course, all of us have been asked to participate. So we're about ready to hopefully be done with that section of it. So anyone who is not done, please present your feedback to Robina. She's looking for it, I know. So just a reminder there, and we appreciate that. I think it's a really important and good first step for all of us, so. And just one piece quickly, I attended a little online meeting today. They have a new group. It's through the University of Minnesota. It's divided into, 5 regions of the state. But they are there to help people. The known thing is you have a project or a plan in your city or your organization, but how do you get there? How do you get it organized? How do you get it managed? How do you find the money? The whole deal, right? And in small communities, that's the biggest problem, is how to get it brought to life. So this new group, and they have someone assigned, as I said, to each region. We have one. They're taking applications due about the middle of February, so a little over a month, to bring in any concept ideas, projects. And these communities have to be quite small. This is not meant for larger, like Duluth wouldn't qualify kind of deal. It's really geared towards smaller communities. For us to put even really small projects in front of them and very large projects like our regional park designation concepts and ideas, to something very small, like we just have a little park issue we want to deal with, whatever. But they're there to lend to help getting stats or data that you need, or helping to design something, whatever, and then helping you get your ducks in a row to get funding. And there's no cost, of course. So I went to listen today, and then I'll keep reading and whatever. We'll just kind of explore what this might be. And I thought maybe Shane has things in his court with sustainability and energy, and maybe there's something there of interest. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll take a look at it. And other than that, I have nothing. I'm done.
Cool.
Great.
Is that everything? All right. Okay. It's 7:32. What did
What?
We're early.
Hard to believe.
We're all
Amazing.
done.
Amazing.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Kim.
Craig.
Yeah, thanks,
And
Rick.
Robert.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
Good night, everyone.